Unless you've been living under a rock for the past 3 decades, you're probably familiar with The Simpsons. Actually, come to think of it, I'm pretty sure The Simpsons have been airing underneath rocks for at least a decade now. So you've seen the show, and you know exactly who Homer Simpson is. You know he's crazy, he's spontaneous, he's irresponsible, he isn't the brightest guy.
I am too smart. I am too smart. S-M-R-T.
He probably has a drinking problem.
If you want him to live through the night, I suggest you roll him onto his stomach.
Thank you, I will, Dr. Hibbert. Thanks for coming.
Remember, I said if.
All in all, the guy has a lot of serious issues. However, one thing you can't knock is his dedication to being a good dad. For all the idiotic stuff he does and for all the terrible decisions he makes, his focus on his children and their happiness is always his top priority. And he's made some truly miserable decisions over the years.
Ah! I'm stuck! Help me!
He's done for!
Let's get out of here!
Homer has 3 children to speak of. Bart, the oldest.
Eat my shorts.
All right, I'll eat your short.
Lisa, the middle child.
Wow, Bart, I'm so impressed you were able to give Milhouse a concussion.
And Maggie, the youngest.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
What's interesting is that he has a special bond with each of them, individually. Obviously, he's the head of a notoriously dysfunctional family.
I'll kill you! I'll kill all of you! Homer! Sorry.
Then again, the show wouldn't be very successful or even entertaining if everything was just normal and they never got into any hijinks. Homer, though, is often at the epicenter of said hijinks. One thing most great characters have in common is that they're multi-dimensional, and that is absolutely the case with ol' Homie.
You're no girl. You're a boy. A good boy. You can be president. Scratch that. You will be president.
As a parent, his dedication to his little ones is undeniable. Perhaps his poor relationship with his own father plays a part in his need to be there for his kids.
You, President? This is the greatest country in the world. We've got a whole system set up to keep people like you from ever becoming president.
Old Abe Simpson wasn't the best parent, and when he wasn't ignoring his boy, he was probably belittling him.
Quit your daydreaming, melonhead!
Homer turned out to be the opposite, working his butt off to put food on the table for the ones that he loves, as well as taking a genuine interest in all of their lives. He acts from his heart, which isn't always the smartest solution, but it's pure and it's genuine nonetheless, and he can't be faulted for that. Despite their antics, the Simpsons family unit is a strong one. They show up for one another, they support each other, and they care about each other. The Simpsons spend real quality time together on a daily basis. This all stems from Homer, who runs a madhouse, but a loving madhouse.
There was a burglar and he took my saxophone! Woohoo! And our portable TV!
Go!
He would do anything for his kids, and more importantly, they know that. Let's first examine his relationship with his youngest daughter, Maggie. In the episode And Maggie Makes 3, which aired as the 13th episode of the 6th season, Bart and Lisa question why no photos of Maggie exist in the family's photo album. The reason, as it turns out, is kind of a tearjerker. You see, Marge's pregnancy with Maggie came as a surprise.
Did you have to be so graphic?
So Homer had to give up his dream job at the bowling alley and go crawling back to beg Mr. Burns for his job back at the power plant. Being the evil old jerk that Mr. Burns is, he made sure to put a sign up above Homer's station saying, quote, "Don't forget, you're here forever." Homer, though, cleverly covered up a big chunk of the sign with pictures of Maggie, blocking off enough letters so that it instead reads, quote, "Do it for her." Come on, if that doesn't tug at your heartstrings, then you're just not a human being.
Why was I programmed to feel pain?
In another instance, Maggie finds a teddy bear frozen in a bag of ice from the Kwik-E-Mart. She develops a deep attachment to the stuffed bear, only for the family to find out that it originally belonged to Mr. Burns, and he's been trying to recover it for years. Mr. Burns, again being the garbage can of a human being that he actually is, demands that the bear be returned to him. He even offers Homer a sizable amount of money for it.
How much do you want?
$1 million and 3 Hawaiian Islands.
Done.
Like an amount that would be absurd to turn down for a raggedy old stuffed animal. But that's just what Homer does.
It seems to be stuck.
Seeing how attached his daughter is to that bear, he decides that he just can't put a price on Maggie's happiness. It's a touching moment, But, dude, it's a baby. You can just get her another bear.
You've made a mistake, Simpson.
With all that money, you can buy her 500 bears. She won't even remember this when she's older. While it's morally applaudable, I'm just not sure I agree with this one. As a result of Homer's undenying dedication to his daughter, her first word is actually daddy.
Daddy.
That says a lot about their relationship and how much they mean to one another. It's especially comical considering that the other children rarely call him anything remotely close to that.
Can you say daddy?
Homer.
No, sweetie, daddy.
Homer.
No!
We know how strong the bond between Homer and Maggie is, but now let's dive into the other daughter, the middle child, Lisa. For the most part, she's the smartest one in the family. Being so brilliant with such a moronic father can't be easy. She doesn't let that affect their dynamic, though. They're still remarkably close and can share pretty much anything with one another. In one instance, Lisa was feeling a bit down. In order to boost her confidence and her self-esteem, Homer decides to sign her up for a beauty pageant. While beauty pageants are kinda messed up as a concept in general, it was a loving move on his part. The only issue was that he couldn't afford the entry fee for the contest. So Homer sells a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take a ride in the Duff blimp that he so clearly was looking forward to. He had been dreaming about the opportunity to get up in that blimp for months, but yet again, he put his daughter's needs ahead of his own. In fact, on 2 occasions, Homer puts his dreams of buying an air conditioner to fight a heat wave on hold in favor of getting Lisa a saxophone. The first time, a psychologist tells him that his daughter is gifted and has a talent that needs nurturing, so rather than buy that sweet, sweet AC unit, he buys her an instrument that automatically creates an immense passion for her. The second time, he kinda accidentally destroys her original saxophone.
Oh, Lisa, it doesn't look so bad.
Oh, yeah?
So he replaces it by immediately buying her a second one. He even engraves both of them so that she always remembers where it came from. Also, I should mention Bleeding Gums Murphy. I don't really have anything useful to say about the character, but I just don't like passing up an opportunity to say Bleeding Gums Murphy. Homer even takes a second job so that Lisa can get a freaking pony. When he realizes that she wants nothing more in the world than a pony of her own, he becomes determined to get his daughter what she wants.
Quick fix. I'll buy her that pony she's always bugging me for.
And in order to afford it, he takes a second job working night shifts at the Kwik-E-Mart. He was literally spending all day at the nuclear power plant and then all night at the convenience store, barely sleeping whatsoever, just to make Lisa happy. Not sure what you call that, but I call that dedication. What Homer lacks in the brains department, he makes up for with absolute commitment to the ones that he loves.
There goes the best damned employee a convenience store ever had.
Case in point, he sneaks Lisa into the ancient Egyptian exhibit at the museum after closing hours.
Could you open the window? The cops have Daddy's prints on file.
He does that for her, trusting that she'll still understand the difference between right and wrong. And he knows his limitations. He isn't oblivious to any of it. At least he has enough humility to understand who he is. He admits to Lisa that he's no good at math, and he even enlists her to help him bet on football.
Mo, $23 on New York.
I mean, if you can make some calculated bets while also making your daughter feel needed, that seems like a win-win to me. Finally, let's examine Homer's relationship with his eldest child, the troublesome Bart. In Season 3, the pair get involved in the soapbox derby in an attempt to bond. The racer that Homer builds is kinda lackluster at best though, and Bart chooses to instead drive Martin's racer after Martin is put on injured reserve. At first, Homer is a little hurt by Bart's decision to use another car. Then he quickly realizes that that's a selfish attitude and instead supports Bart regardless of what he's driving. In another instance, Homer attempts to build a battle robot for Bart to use in the TV series Robot Rumble. Look, he's not exactly Elon Musk, but what he lacks in the engineering skill, he makes up for with heart. Failing miserably to build a credible robot, Homer instead opts to just dress up like a robot himself, and without Bart knowing, he just fights actual robots on television. He gets his butt kicked by robots on television just to put a smile on his son's face and make him proud. He knows that his abilities are limited, but if there's one thing that Homer Simpson is great at, it's taking a beating. Name me another parent dedicated enough to fight a robot on television just to impress their kid. I didn't say it was smart, I said it was dedicated. All of these instances just prove that Homer is an awesome parent to Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. Oh, what's that? Oh, he chokes Bart on a number of occasions? Oh, right. Well, what do you think? Is Homer Simpson a great father, or nah? Sound off in the comments section down below. Before you go, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed to ScreenRant because you won't want to miss all the awesome content we've got coming your way. Until next time, bye!